Welcome back. All right, news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet for your Monday, uh, December the 30th. We're almost up to 2025. So, hey, one of the last news videos for 2024. Starting at the top of the board. So, Austin Matthews is, we don't know how long he's going to be out. These day-to-day injuries, though, are pretty brutal for him. First time out, he missed 9 games. Now he's missed 4 so far. And he's about to miss his fifth. He will not play tomorrow against the Islanders, even though he was a full participant in practice today. So we're not hearing a lot about what it is with Matthews and what's going on here. We know that he went overseas and he downplayed it. That's nothing major. It's nothing major. It's no big deal. I figured it was flying overseas anyways. I might as well like it just. At any rate, I think we'll find out what's going on with Matthews when the season is done and what he's been dealing with. He's clearly in a lot of discomfort. It's caused him to miss a lot of games, and so he's going to miss his fifth in a row with tomorrow's. And they're 1-3 without him so far in this go around. Whereas the last go around, it didn't seem to hurt as much because the record was pretty good. So yeah, Matthews definitely dealing with definitely not a small injury here, and they keep just that's day to day. It's day to day. It's no big deal. It's day to day. It's just no big deal. He's fine. He'll be fine. Sandin Pellikka. So this is a name that I've mentioned in videos before. He was drafted 17th overall by the Red Wings in 2023, and I really liked him. And looking at scouting reports on him and his overall numbers, I was like, man, I'd love to see him as a member of the Canucks. But the Canucks traded their first round draft pick that year to Detroit. And it was a pick they got from the Islanders that they traded to Detroit. And Detroit drafts Sandin Pellikka. Now, the fact that Hronek is part of that trade to Vancouver, great, fine. But I do get this bad feeling that Sandin Pellikka, who's having an amazing run at the World Juniors for Sweden, is going to end up being a very good defenseman at the NHL level. And I don't know how long it's going to take, but it does feel like we're trending in that direction. One thing to keep in mind is that players have had really good World Juniors in the past that have not turned out to be really good NHL players, and vice versa. Some really good NHL players have had very quiet, even disappointing World Junior performances. But yeah, Sandin Pellikka looks good, and we'll see how long it takes before the Detroit Red Wings bring him in. And it is just one of those names that just sticks around the back of my mind like, oh, come on. Canucks could have had him. It's like Dylan Guenther, right? That was the draft pick the Canucks traded, which doesn't mean that the Canucks would have drafted Guenther, no, but it's one of those things to keep an eye on. Pettersson. So getting to the Canucks news side of things, Pettersson's out about a week, according to Rick Tocchet, a week, give or take. And Hughes is considered week to week. Now, there's some hot water that Tocchet's finding himself in because that game that they played against San Jose, Hughes was considered questionable. The injury that's keeping him out week to week was the reason he was questionable for that game against San Jose, and he played a lot. And Tocchet defending that decision and saying that he doesn't think that playing through the injury that's now going to keep him out for weeks, that he doesn't believe that made it worse. He doesn't believe that that would have aggravated anything, and yet Hughes hasn't played since that game, and now he's out for weeks, right? Week to week, to me, is always a minimum of 2 weeks. And the Canucks are already down Hronek. Hronek's about a month away from a return. So this is a Canucks team that is missing some pretty big names right now, and it's a team that when everybody's playing is already finding itself having some struggles, comparatively speaking, with last year. So my optimism regarding the Canucks and playoffs and, maybe having a fun run in the playoffs, it has faded definitely from where it might have been before the season started. Even though I did not have expectations of them winning the division, I thought they should probably be top 3. They should probably be a top 3 team, but that has not been the case, and they're definitely trending in the other direction. And now without Pettersson, without Hughes, and they're already without Hronek, this was a blue line that already needed help with Hughes and Hronek in the lineup. So the blue line is going to be severely tested. Basically, we have to kind of hope that Brandstrom plays the best hockey of his career over the next little while until Hughes is good to come back or until Hronek comes back, whichever happens first. Speaking of injuries, Gostisbehere. Upper body injury for him with Carolina, and he is out longer than day to day, is what Rod Brindamore is saying. So the coaches now all kind of agreeing, all right, let's just make it as vague as possible and give no information while giving some information that, when you think about it, really doesn't help at all. It doesn't tell you much of anything. So he's longer than day-to-day without Goss to spare. Carolina should be okay. One difference between their situation and Vancouver's, I think Carolina has better depth on the blue line, and so they should be able to absorb the loss of Goss to spare. For a short period of time, it being longer than day-to-day tells you it's probably going to be at least a week for Goss to spare. Speaking of weeks, your 3 stars of the week are as follows. Mark Scheifele of the Winnipeg Jets, 2 games, 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points for him. Darlene, 7 assists in 3 games for the Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres won all 3 of those games as well. And Zach Werenski of the Columbus Blue Jackets also recorded 7 assists in 3 games. He's your 3rd star of the week. And Werenski's been absolutely fantastic for the Columbus Blue Jackets this season. So for all the debate about Columbus this and that, yeah, Werenski's been quite a positive story for a Columbus team that, could definitely use positive stories from time to time. The Dallas Stars, so now we know that they're going to be fined. This is what's being reported. They're going to be fined for the optional practice they held on Boxing Day, and probably get further clarification of what is or isn't allowed between 24th and 26th when things are shut down. So the Dallas Stars are going to get fined. We'll see what the fine looks like, but that's fair. It's fair. Dallas should have known better. It doesn't make sense to take away draft picks for holding a practice, an optional practice at that, on Boxing Day. So kind of a slap on the wrist and just letting other teams know, hey, just don't. Puljujarvi's on waivers, so I'm jumping to the bottom of the board on this one. Puljujarvi's one of those players that his skill just hasn't translated to keeping him in a top 6 role at the NHL level, and his game does not translate to playing bottom 6 minutes either. I've seen complaints already from Pittsburgh fans about who's in the lineup while they're waiving Puljujarvi, but I don't think people understand. There's a good chance Puljujarvi clears and ends up going down to Wilkes-Barre. He doesn't play the style of hockey that works in a bottom 6 role, and just hasn't shown enough as a top 6 forward. So Puljujarvi is I think very likely to end up going back over to Europe and playing out the rest of his career there, because it hasn't happened. And at this point, we're so far out from his draft year, I don't think we're going to see GMs jump in and go, well, he's young enough, he can turn this around. I think that's probably past for him, but we'll see. The World Juniors. So talking about the scores on the weekend, there was games all day on Saturday and Sunday, so I didn't really have much of a chance to put together a news of the day video on either day. Saturday, the Czechs beat Kazakhstan 14-2. That's lopsided, and USA beat Latvia 5-1. So Latvia, of course, the team that beat Team Canada. Canada was looking for a bounce back, and they got it yesterday. Yesterday, Sweden beat Switzerland 7-5. Finland with an overtime win over the U.S. and 4-3. And I said this about the 4 nations, and I'm saying it again here. Everybody seems to be debating: is Canada the best? Is USA the best? Don't be surprised when the Finns win it. Czechs beat Slovakia 4-2, and Canada beat Germany 3-0. Today's games: Kazakhstan versus Slovakia, and Latvia versus Germany. And tomorrow is 4 games, and of course there's 13 NHL games. So whatever you want to watch tomorrow, there's a lot of hockey for you. There's 17 games between the World Juniors and the NHL. The Swiss play Kazakhstan tomorrow. Latvia plays Finland. Czechia plays Sweden, and USA plays Canada. The USA-Canada one, I think, is 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. I think maybe it's 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific. But if you're following the World Juniors enough, you guys already know what time that game's going to be on, because you'll have that all bookmarked and everything. And I'll be up to my earballs or eyeballs, or up to my ears. Either or, sure, earballs, sure, anyways. Don't want to go down that road. I just don't. But we'll have a lot of hockey tomorrow is what I'm saying. And after that, I do believe that rounds out the preliminary round. And then we get into the medal round where the games really matter. Like, if you're going to get mad about games, get mad about medal round games. Don't worry about the preliminary round. It doesn't make a big difference. Really doesn't. Like, I always see, well, if this team loses this, then they're going to have to play that team in the medal round. All right, well, you're going to have to play them eventually anyways, if they're this juggernaut. So you might as well get it out of the way early. But at any rate, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.